Milo and I were supposed to be the perfect couple. We met in college, fell in love over late-night study sessions and cheap pizza, and built a life together from scratch. We had a beautiful home, 2 amazing kids, and what I thought was an unbreakable bond. For 15 years, he was my rock, my best friend, my everything. Looking back, maybe that was the problem. I put him on such a high pedestal that I couldn't see the cracks forming at the base. The signs were there, I just chose to ignore them. The late nights at the office, the sudden obsession with his phone, the way he'd flinch if I touched it. He started buying new clothes, working out religiously, and using cologne he'd never worn before. When I'd ask, he'd just laugh and say he was trying to stay young for me. I wanted to believe him. I really did. The thought that Milo, my Milo, could betray me was so absurd it felt like a plot from a bad movie. The truth hit me like a freight train on a Tuesday afternoon. I was picking up our daughter from her piano lesson when I saw his car parked outside a boutique hotel downtown. A hotel we'd once stayed at for our anniversary. My heart hammered against my ribs. It had to be a work thing, right? A meeting? But a cold, sinking feeling told me otherwise. I parked across the street, my hands shaking so badly I could barely turn off the ignition. 15 minutes later he walked out. He wasn't alone. A woman, younger and blonde, was clinging to his arm, laughing at something he said. He leaned down and kissed her, a long, lingering kiss that stole the air from my lungs. It wasn't a friendly peck. It was the kind of kiss he used to give me. In that single moment, my world shattered. The man I had loved for half my life was a stranger. I drove home in a daze, the world a blurry mess of tears and rage. My first instinct was to confront him, to scream and throw things, to demand answers. But as I sat in our silent house, surrounded by pictures of our happy family, a different feeling began to take root. It was cold, sharp, and focused. He thought I was a fool. He thought he could have his perfect life with me and his little secret on the side. He underestimated me. He didn't just break my heart. He insulted my intelligence, and that was a mistake he would come to regret. I didn't say a word that night when he came home, smelling faintly of a perfume that wasn't mine. He kissed my cheek and told me he was exhausted from a brutal day of meetings. I just smiled, a tight, brittle smile, and told him to get some rest. While he slept, I began to plan. Revenge wasn't just a desire, it was a necessity. It was the only way I could take back the power he had stolen from me. I became a detective in my own home. I used a simple recovery app to pull deleted messages from his phone. It was all there. Months of texts, photos, and hotel bookings with Jessica. They called each other pet names. They planned a future. He had told her he was planning to leave me after our son's high school graduation. The hypocrisy was staggering. He was playing the role of a devoted family man while secretly plotting to blow it all up. My plan wasn't about shouting matches or public humiliation. That was too easy, too messy. My revenge needed to be precise, elegant, and utterly devastating. Milo's biggest pride, besides our family, was his career. He was a senior partner at a prestigious financial firm, a position he had worked tirelessly for. His entire identity was wrapped up in being a successful, respected provider, and that's where I would strike. I knew his company had a strict morality clause. Any behavior that could bring the firm into disrepute was grounds for immediate dismissal. I also knew his biggest client, a notoriously conservative family-run corporation, was the foundation of his success. Their annual review was coming up in a few weeks. It was perfect. I started by gathering my evidence. I printed out the text messages, the hotel receipts I found in his email trash folder, and even a few of the more intimate photos he had sent her. I compiled everything into a neat, professional-looking portfolio. Then, I did some digging on Jessica. It wasn't hard. Her social media was public. I discovered she was an aspiring influencer who worked part-time at a local cafe. More importantly, she was ambitious and, from the looks of it, a little naive. My next step was to create an anonymous email account. I drafted a very carefully worded email. It wasn't emotional or accusatory. It was professional, almost like an internal corporate memo. The subject line read, "Confidential concern regarding Milo Thompson." I sent it to the head of HR and the two managing partners at his firm, attaching the portfolio of evidence. The email simply stated that, as a concerned party, I felt it was my duty to report conduct that could pose a significant reputational risk to the company, especially concerning the upcoming review with their key client. Then I waited. For 3 days, nothing happened. Milo was his usual self, oblivious, acting the part of the doting husband. The suspense was agonizing. I started to doubt myself. What if they ignored it? What if they protected him? The call came on a Friday afternoon. Milo phoned me, his voice a strained whisper. "Something's happened at work. I have to come home." He sounded broken. When he walked through the door an hour later, he looked like a ghost. His face was pale, his expensive suit rumpled. He just stood in the hallway, holding a cardboard box with his office belongings. "They fired me," he choked out. "Someone sent them. Everything. The texts, the pictures. Everything, Alara." He looked at me, his eyes pleading for sympathy, for comfort. I just stared back, my expression unreadable. I didn't give him the satisfaction of an "I told you so" or a tearful confession. I just stood there in silence. "Who would do this?" he asked, his voice cracking. "Jessica, did she do this?" "I don't know, Milo," I said calmly. "Maybe you shouldn't have been sleeping with a coworker." Oh, did I forget to mention that part? In my email, I had subtly implied that Jessica was an ambitious junior associate at a rival firm, making the whole affair seem like corporate espionage. It was a lie, of course, but a plausible one that added a layer of professional betrayal to his personal one. The fallout was spectacular. He lost his job, his 6-figure salary, and the respect he had spent his entire adult life building. The news spread through our social circle like wildfire. He was a pariah. People he'd called friends for years suddenly stopped answering his calls. He was trapped in the house, a king dethroned in his own castle, with nothing but his shame and his cardboard box of memories. But I wasn't done yet. The final piece of my revenge was for me. While he was spiraling, I was quietly meeting with the best divorce lawyer in the city. When I finally served him the papers, I had everything in order. I had documented his infidelity, his financial irresponsibility, and the fact that his actions led to his unemployment. Because he was fired with cause he wasn't getting a severance package, his earning potential was decimated. In the divorce settlement, I got the house, primary custody of the kids, and a significant portion of our assets. He was left with next to nothing. The last I heard, he was living in a small apartment across town, struggling to find a new job in an industry that now saw him as toxic. Jessica, unsurprisingly, disappeared the moment the money and status were gone. Some people might say my revenge was too harsh, that I should have taken the high road. But the high road is for people whose worlds haven't been systematically dismantled by the person they trusted most. He didn't just cheat on me. He lied to me, he used me, and he planned to discard me when I was no longer convenient. He built his kingdom on a foundation of my trust, and I simply took a sledgehammer to the pillars holding it up. My revenge wasn't sweet because I enjoyed his suffering. It was sweet because it was justice. It was me, Elara, the quiet, supportive wife, finally showing the world, and myself, what I was capable of. I took back my life, my power, and my future. And let me tell you, that tastes better than any sweet revenge. My life is peaceful now, filled with the laughter of my kids and the quiet confidence of a woman who knows her own worth. And Milo? He learned a very hard lesson. Never, ever underestimate the woman you wrong. Thank you so much for listening to my story. It was a tough chapter, but I'm stronger for it. If you've been through something similar or just found this story empowering, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content. See you next time.